We are delighted to be joined by Maggie Mesa from Chartboost. How are you doing today?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
We are here on the second day now. The first one was very hectic. Second one will probably be likewise. How are you holding up?
I saw my voice, so it's a win.
We'll see what we can do about that. For folks who maybe aren't familiar with Chartboost, what is it you guys are all about?
So Chartboost is an advertising platform. We're a unified advertising platform with a DSP, so Chartboost Advertise, so programmatic DSP. We have our Chartboost Marketplace, which is our exchange, and then we have Chartboost Mediate, which is our supply-side mediation.
Right, so a whole suite of kind of opportunities.
That's right. We help developers generate revenue either through user acquisition or ad monetization.
Gotcha, okay. Now, I always start with talking about the GDPR changes and the ATT changes over at Apple recently, because so much of advertising and the way it works is about data, and even if it's programmatic, it's feeding data into an algorithm. How has that affected Chartboost and the way it works, and have there been any positives, negatives to come from it?
I mean, I think everybody had to adapt to Apple's privacy changes last year, and I would say we're no different than everybody else in this room. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to evolve and really think about being a privacy-first compliant platform, and that's essentially what we did. We definitely saw things shift and change and adapt. From our perspective, there's still a great way of reaching users on iOS through other means with being privacy compliant. And it also still expands opportunities into Google Play and Amazon and other platforms in which you can reach your users. So, for us, it's just about being adaptable and continuing to serve and reach advertisers as wholes.
What's the most common service that folks come to you for? So you noted like 2 or 3 different things they can approach you for. What's your most popular service, if you like?
I think our DSP is our core product, which is helping advertisers find new users to their games, as well as our Chartboost mediation platform, which is our SSP. Those are our 2 core products, and that's essentially developer-facing products. So those are our 2 things that most of our partners work with us on.
And when people approach you and say, look, we need help with our game, we want to obviously boost engagement, we want to increase UA and all the rest of it, what is the most common, I guess, mistake you see people making? Why are their games not being noticed? Why are their users leaving, from your perspective?
I think the one thing that we always want to preach is that it's always about testing and iterating. There's not one size fits all for any game developer. So whether it's testing creatives, or testing geos, or testing different models on our DSP, it's always important to find your sweet spot for each developer. It will be slightly different based on genre and goals, etc. And so we always want to practice and preach that to our clients, is to have patience and continue to test and iterate, and really learn as you go along.
How can they help you do the thing that you do? Is it more information from them? If the more data they give you, the better, or?
That's exactly it. It's about, being transparent with one another, sharing as much data as possible. We only see as much as our clients and the MMPs are, willing to share with us. And that really helps inform all of our technology in the back end that's helping developers reach their goals. So at the end of the day, anything else they can share with us is extremely valuable.
And I'm assuming that helps you fit like the right campaign to the right game, if you like, or the right app or product. Are there certain trends that you've noticed, like particular kinds of, for example, lifestyle apps maybe work differently to a free-to-play game with a, live ops side? Are there different trends for different types of app, or?
I think the thing that we've seen the most is this new types of genres and new types of verticals emerge out of gaming. So obviously, in-app advertising heavy apps like hyper casual and casual have had immense growth over the last couple of years. And so supporting that with an ad ROAS model was a huge investment for us on our platform. So I think that's one of the biggest trends we've seen, is just integrating more and more types of genres onto our platform to help support whatever their user acquisition needs are, whether it's about engaging the user to drive IAP into the game, or driving users to have long LTV and continue to use the app for days and months, essentially.
I was speaking to a developer earlier on, and they mentioned at one point that they were dropping the game on mobile. They were doing a port from a PC and console game. And they mentioned they were dropping it premium. And that's a slightly more rare thing these days.
Yeah.
Everyone's eyebrows does what yours did. Oh, really? That's brave.
Did my face read that? I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Do you ever get approached by folks? Like, do you work with like premium developers? And if
Absolutely.
And you do. So is it a very different approach there? Because in terms of the way that advertising works, obviously they try to avoid putting a lot of that stuff in their game, and their user base tends to get a bit upset or resistant to anything that resembles pop-ups or in-app purchases or anything like that. So how do you deal with those?
Yeah, I think it's really up to the developers. They know their gameplay the best and they know their user base the best. At the end of the day, it's sort of their decisions on how to integrate ads, if at all, or, to go the freemium model or the subscription model. We typically find, free-to-play games are usually the folks that we're working with to drive UA, and certainly on the ad monetization side as well, that are fueling the revenue versus a subscription model. But we definitely have developers that use subscription models for certain apps and then don't use it for other apps based on, their user engagement. So we find both. It's the mix. And at the end of the day, it's the game developer that's going to know the best based on how their game designed is. So for us, it's just we're here to support whatever, whether it's UA, ad monetization, whatever they're doing to help generate revenues for those apps.
And how much data do you hand back to the client? I know some people, they talk about black boxes where it's all very opaque because it's all based on algorithms and you just kind of have to go, look, trust us, you've got the info. But equally, it can be a bit dangerous to just throw endless charts and spreadsheets at someone who maybe doesn't have the context and go, there you go, fill your boots. Like, how much data do you hand over and what's the value of it?
I mean, I think game developers are some of the most smart and savvy partners that we have. And so at the end of the day, it's all about trust and transparency for us. So the days of being a black box ad network or any type of advertising platform, in my opinion, those days are gone. It's all about, providing as much data, whether it's through dashboards or APIs. We certainly provide those services on our site because we believe that's the difference between us and our competitors. And quite frankly, it's what our partners want.
Gotcha. And what about 2023? The world changed significantly during the pandemic period. User behaviors changed. Everything suddenly went spikes and engagement went right up. And then some went down again afterwards. Some have maintained. It's been an unusual change. And obviously, the economy's doing weird things. Well, in the UK, it certainly is. All around.
In the US as well.
quite right. So from Chartboost angle, what's 2023 all about? Is it new initiatives? Is it growth? Is it what?
No, I think from our perspective, it's continuing to test and iterate. I mean, I think there's going to be new things that drive engagement, whether it's new creatives or new geos. We definitely know several developers that are launching new titles this year in the second half of this year. So it's definitely not a time to go quiet and not continue to invest in marketing, but it's definitely about being smarter with your marketing dollars. And, whether it's trying, something that you haven't tested before or going back to an audience profile that you've targeted in the past. I think from our perspective, we're going heavy on creative services and automation and scale. So trying new countries and new geos to help drive users in a market that you haven't reached before.